Hi to everybody, and thank you for joining. Great to have you on board. And yeah, my name is Ola Bracichowicz, and I'm a BI consultant at AstraFox. And I'm really excited because today we've got a really good lineup ahead. So we are going to start off with interesting topic, accidental Tableau admin Rockstar by Jayesh Kothari. Thank you, Jayesh, for joining and being here with us.
Welcome, Ola.
Piotr Romac will tell us about Tableau Server and access rights. Then Ewa Marczewska will bring up an important and interesting topic about machine learning and one initiative we plan. And Pawel Paleczny, sorry, will mention something at the end. And as far as I remember, he'd also like to sing Christmas songs. So it will be very, very interesting. Waiting for that.
Very painful for you.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of.
Yeah, and if you have questions, just write them in a chat box or feel free to unmute and ask. Thank you so much. And yeah, I think this is it. Jayesh, take it away.
Sure. I'll just share the presentation and start sharing my screen. All right, let me know once my screen is visible. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, we can see.
Yes.
All right. So hello everyone, and this will be my first instance of joining any of the Tableau meeting. When I tried to kind of schedule some of the meetings for which I was which leader back then in a couple of years back, but I was not able to kind of manage my time with office and work and then other activities. So kind of disappointed there. But yeah, I mean, I got this opportunity and thanks to Piotr to reaching out, and then yeah, I mean, I have prepared complete journal of my journey with Tableau administration and how I got into Tableau administration, what all things led to kind of pushed me to install and manage Tableau admin for my client. And one thing I wanted to mention that I'll not be able to share the Tableau server screens and everything because the entire thing which I have done, I mean, which I'm presenting here is for my previous organization, and I have changed my company a couple of weeks back only. So it will be only in presentation. So I think a few of my colleagues might join from my few of my ex-colleagues might join from Infosys, and they'll be able to relate. So yeah. Let me know in case you have any questions, any doubts, or any queries in between. And if I'm going wrong, also please feel free to kind of stop me there and then correct me. So yep. Okay, moving ahead. Brief introduction about me. So I am basically a computer science engineer, and I've been working with data analytics for over almost 10 years now. And I worked on multiple tools, starting with mostly Tableau products, Tableau Desktop, Tableau Server, Tableau Prep, and then Power BI, ClickSense. And then I've also worked on multiple ETL tools like Alteryx, SQL Server, a bit of SSIS, SSRS as well. And then I have a keen interest in machine learning and advanced analytics as well. So I keep on kind of reading and experimenting with data whenever I get some time. And in my current role, I am working as a senior consultant for Tableau with Orsted in Warsaw. And I have been living in Poland since last 3.5 years now, along with my wife and my 3-year-old kid. So yep, it's all about me. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, on Gmail, and I'm even on Tableau Public. So feel free to kind of connect and join and discuss. All right. So agenda for today's meeting, for today's topic that I have is, so today I'll be taking you through my, crazy journey and experiments with Tableau Server. And I'll let you know, I mean, I'll tell you how I ended up managing fully a full-blown Tableau server, and right from installing it to performing multiple crazy tasks like automations and some different experiments in terms of batch scripting and all those things on Tableau server. And we'll start with the use case and the problem statement that was provided by the client initially, and then some surprises after kind of we signed up the project. I mean, after we signed in for the project, after we received the money, there were some surprises, and then there were some initial hurdles, and then how we overcame all those hurdles, and then again in the end I'll tell you the solutions that we had provided. And I'll also show you a crappy diagram which I made it myself last night, in terms of architecture, like how the entire system is looking and how it is working right now. This entire architecture have been replicated. I mean, was done first by me in Infosys, and then it was replicated across various clients uh, in various domains, and again it was passed on to other companies through clients as well. So it's right now in use and totally legit solution. All right. So before we start with Tableau server, so some admin expert told me that there are basically 3 R's for most of the problems that are encountered by admin by any admins, and then the solution for those problems is basically refresh the server. If not working, then restart, and if not at all working with restart, then do a I'm sorry, then do a reinstall. And before doing reinstall, just make sure to take backups, and that's it. And then for all other problems, please raise a ticket to Tableau support team. They are very friendly. They are always ready to, they're always up for help, and they'll be able to solve your problem within a couple of days, and not couple of days, then some weeks. So yeah, we will revisit this slide in the end, and I'll tell you were these suggestions correct or not. So yeah, here we go. So the initial use case. So from client, we had got a requirement gathering done, and due diligence done. People from Infosys travel to, people from my ex organization travel to client side to gather all the requirements. And after gathering all the requirements and creating all BRD documents, there were some initial requirements in terms of we had to first of all gather data across multiple source. Like they had ServiceNow and Avaya and some manual files, and then combine everything and create a single data source of all those sources to be utilized for ad hoc reporting in Tableau. And after that, we had a requirement of creating high performing automated Tableau dashboards for the service desk operations, wherein we had to showcase different matrices, like a number of incidents open, number of incidents closed, and how many incidents are marked as important, and how many are flagged as high priority, low priority, and all those things we had to show in form of a dashboard. And then we had to use their existing design documents to create basically user-friendly dashboards representing clients' critical service levels and key measurements. There was somewhere around 50 critical service levels and key measurements which we had to map on a Tableau dashboard. And in the end, we had to generate a storyboard or a report in terms of Tableau dashboard by mapping 35 predefined matrices, and then again share it with the client for in terms of they should be able to view those reports and play around and play around with those reports. And that's it. And then based on the initial use cases, we had made some initial assumptions in terms of infrastructure and uh, Tableau server. So we had assumed that okay, I mean we have a requirement only for creating a Tableau dashboard, so it's okay. Client will provide the complete Tableau server infrastructure with a dedicated point of contact for Tableau admin. We had assumed this because in our previous experiences, we were only developing Tableau dashboards for the clients, and the entire infrastructure of Tableau server, database server, and everything was managed by the client itself. So this was the first assumption, and the second one was the dashboards and reports that will be uploaded will be accessed directly through client provided Tableau server, and we just had to create a Tableau dashboard and publish. That's it. But there was some surprise. I mean, like multiple surprises. We were given access to the client environment, and then what we saw is when we asked for the infrastructure, all they provided us was Azure cloud environment and a Microsoft Azure SQL server dedicated for the project. There was no Tableau server installed in any of their Azure environments or in any of their other cloud environments or on-premise environments, and it was our responsibility basically to build a complete Tableau server infrastructure and then build an end-to-end dashboard automation on top of it, and then again obviously without exceeding the available budget that was signed off by the client. So there is this term called as scope creep, uh, which we encountered, and again we had to kind of modify the requirements according to this new scope. Anyone having any idea around like what scope creep is? Anyone? I mean, you can be wrong or
Sorry, I didn't know.
No.
no problem.
Even I
So
didn't.
see, I mean, so so scope creep is a project management term basically. It refers to changes and uncontrolled growth in a project's initial scope, and it may happen at any point of the time. It may happen at the design phase or at the requirement gathering phase or at the build phase or at the testing phase also. So it's kind of a generic problem which we encounter in a waterfall methodology basically, wherein we follow step-by-step development phases, and then we at the end we get the final product. And this can occur basically when the scope of project is not properly defined, documented, or controlled by the project manager. So yeah, I mean this is basically a scope creep, and we encountered these two problems in terms of scope creep, and then there was again there were again multiple discussions and multiple challenges in terms of again creating and modifying the BRD and then signing off entire thing. So it was all done, and then yeah, I mean along with current requirements, I mean after this surprise, along with the current requirements of building up a dashboard, we were tasked upon with setting up a Tableau server infrastructure for them as well, and it included various things, right from single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, and an SSL-enabled secure platform, to defining power users, which will be basically Explorer administrators, and normal users, which will be viewers. And again, the entire cost of licensing was to be borne by our company. So it was not budgeted as an extra amount. So again, this was a problem here. And then some of the additional tasks, I mean, after setting up a Tableau server are basically, like taking backup of Tableau server, I mean, a periodic backup of Tableau server, implementing row level security as and when required, schedule refresh extracts, and then set up alerts. And, all these tasks were also added by clients' engineers. So this was a surprise. And then from here onwards, I mean, I started to, kind of learn slowly about Tableau server, how to set it up, how to do all these things like adding SSO, SSL, MFA, and then how to automate uh, tasks like server backup and all these things. So I'll highlight three of the most important things which we had taken care of in terms of this entire deployment of Tableau server. So as you can see, there is this initial use case with 4 requirements, and then apart from these 4 requirements, we were tasked upon with some additions, as I told you in the last slide, to create a robust and scalable Tableau server infrastructure for operations of the entire service desk operations and reporting, and then for the dashboard requirements. And then load Tableau server with SSO, MFA, and SSL and to make sure SSL, just to make sure that it's a secure platform and it cannot be hacked by any internal or external person or a bot. And then all major and minor activities who are which are being done by administrators. So all these things were added, and the initial task of creating dashboards and all those things took a backseat, and then we started our journey with Tableau server setup, installations, license installation, and then setting up multiple configurations on TSM like SSL, SSO, MFA, and then again we were a team of three: a project manager, a Tableau developer, and one dedicated person who was doing Python scripting and ETL development. Being familiar with Tableau server, being familiar with Tableau desktop, and like kind of expert in Tableau desktop and creating dashboards and all those things, I was tasked upon again to learn about Tableau server, take some external trainings, and do some external workshops, and then come up with this entire installation. And yeah, from next slide onward, I'll show you, like step by step hurdles and roadblocks that we had seen in the project and how we kind of, got over all those problems. So, any questions till now? Anyone?
I think not so far.
All right. All right. So initial hurdle. So installing Tableau server was kind of. We had to kind of set up a virtual server in Azure network and in Azure space with all the we had to take care of all the requirements which are needed to install a successful to deploy a successful Tableau server instance. So we had taken care of all those things, and like what should be RAM and what should be the memory, what should be the how many processors should be there, and all those things. We had taken care of all those things, and then we had ordered a virtual server on Azure and with the required configuration basically, and then installation was just a piece of cake. You just have to, all of us have done installation at some other point in our life on laptops or in computers. Like we just have to click next, 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 and then finish it. uh, the first thing was the first and the major problem was how to set up single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, and SSL. So if you don't know, like what SSO, SSL, and MFA and all these things are, let me try to give you a brief explanation. So a single sign-on is basically, you need to just sign in just for one time, and after that will be logged in for next. You can configure the number of minutes uh, uh, during which you have to uh, keep logged in on Tableau server. And so this is basically a single sign-on, and multi-factor authentication is you have to link Tableau server with your Microsoft Authenticator or any authenticator which your organization is using, and then you'll get a push message or a code on your mobile phone which you have to again enter back on Tableau server to log in. So this is kind of multi-factor authentication where your transaction is completely secured. You will get a notification on your phone, on your mobile phone, and then you'll be able to only proceed when you will either validate that it's you, or you will enter a code that is being sent to your mobile phone. And then the most important thing is SSL. So SSL is basically securing the Tableau server platform. So like generally when we install Tableau server, it kinds of comes up only with HTTP protocol. It was our kind of role to move it from HTTP to HTTPS, which is like more secure platform, and this was added to ensure security as well on Tableau server. So all these things were there, and then again we had to differentiate how we will configure power users and normal users. The client had asked specifically to add some power users, like somewhere around 20 to 25 power users were added, which who were kind of performing some kind of modifications on Tableau server in dashboards, and saving it as a different name, and then we had to give them Explorer administrator access, and then we had some normal users which we had to give viewer access. Obviously, normal users and power users, I mean, this entire thing comes up with a cost, and I'll tell you like how did we kind of manage to cut off the cost by removing normal users as viewers and then giving them a different kind of access. And then we had to set up automated backup of Tableau server. Like every Friday after end of business, the script should automatically run and take the backup, remove the old backup, and then replace the new backup with old backup, and then they should run every Friday after end of business. So these were the initial hurdles. No one from our team had kind of basically no idea on how to configure all these things until unless we were provided some kind of training by external provider, and then we had ourselves invested some time in reading and then going through the documentations available on Tableau website and the knowledge base and the knowledge articles. So yeah, I mean, the first hurdle, it was most complicated task. Basically, it required multiple iterations, restarts, multiple sessions with internal IT security team, and I have even reinstalled Tableau server kind of 5 to 6 times just to make sure that all three of them are working smoothly. So the first thing that you have to take care here is that you have to make sure that all certificate files that you're using and key files that you're using are having a proper extension. So a certificate file can have a CER extension, a CRT extension. So Tableau supports all certificate files which are having a CRT extension and key files which are having .key extensions. So we were having no idea before, like installing, and then we were trying multiple combinations of all the certificate files in terms of how to in terms of uploading them on Tableau server in TSM configuration and security. And then again, there is one more thing which you must take care is you have to always choose a passphrase basically to protect the key file which you have inserted in the first step. Uh, Otherwise, it can be questioned by the client or external vendors who are doing penetration testing, and then it can come up as a defect in the entire installation space. And then certificate chain file is also required. Uh, if a user wants to, if your user wants to access, let's say, all the reports and dashboards and entire Tableau server on the go on their Android or iOS phones or on their iPads or Android tabs, then you need to make sure that you are also installing a certificate chain file, which is having key to map iOS and Android, Android, and then Tableau server. So this is also required. And then again, if you want to go through the complete documentation, it's available on Tableau server, like step by step, what all steps you need to follow, and where you need to key in what exactly. And I will be sharing the link along with the presentation after end of the session. So yeah, that will be taken care in the PPT. And then foremost important thing is uh, this came as an surprise to us that certificate also comes with a validity. We had no idea. Some of you might have idea that certificates have validity, but we had no idea. We had only encountered this when one day suddenly Tableau server stopped working. We had done all root cause analysis. We had taken out logs. We tried to uh, interpret them manually. uh, we had also taken backup and then again reinstall Tableau server, but we were not able to kind of come up with the solution, and that was actually during holiday period. So Tableau support team was also not responding, and we had applied multiple combinations and multiple resolutions to kind of make sure the Tableau server is up and running, but we were not able to kind of do it. And at the end, we got to know from the internal IT security team that the certificates have expired, and we need to change the certificates on Tableau Server security on TSM security tab, and then only we had identified that certificate comes with a validity, and we need to kind of change certificates every year. It depends upon organization to organization. Like the client which we were working for had 1 year validity. I mean, had a policy of 1 year validity of certificates, and in some places or in some organizations, you also have 3 years of validity. So you have to make sure that you are adding. I mean, whosoever is the admin have to make sure that they are adding a reminder in the calendar or wherever they want to make sure that certificates are changed properly every year, like before Tableau Server stops working. All these certificates should be generated within the local environment, within the client environment, and you have to make sure that you are not using external certificates. You can take help from the IT security team, or you can also generate these certificates using a tool which is called as OpenSSL tool. All you need to do, when this is a free to install tool, you have to install this on your Windows server or Linux server, wherever you have installed Tableau server, and then there are some few predefined commands through which you can generate CRT and key file and put it accordingly on the Tableau server. Any questions till here?
Can I extend a little bit on that?
Yeah, sure. Please.
We had a client with Okta authentication on local authentication with some specific site-specific SAML, and there we also had a certification problem with where the SAM also had the certificate with like 1 year validity. And when it's like come out to an end, you had to pretty much replace the metadata on all of the sites, mostly because the certificates were imprinted inside those. So this is not only issue on the Tableau server side, this might be also the issue with the authentication from the provider. So we have to also save the information about how we authenticate users, because someday, a random day, it might be the issue that users cannot log in. So the certificates are much really important.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and specifically, if you want to configure SSO and MFA and SSL, you have to make sure that each and every step is followed very carefully while adding certificates to, because if you will miss any step after restart, Tableau server will not turn on only properly. So you will be able to see errors in many processes on TSM. So yep. All right. Any other questions or any other additions someone want to do? Okay. Then the second part came. The second set of hurdles, wherein we had to differentiate between power users and normal users, and then setting up an automated backup of Tableau server. So for the second point, wherein we had to differentiate between normal users and power users. So we were already running over costs due to all changes in scope, and we were in no position of investing further in Tableau viewer licenses. So it was a requirement from the client to have at least 35 viewer licenses. And again, everyone knows that all licenses are kind of a bit costly when it comes to Tableau licenses. So we were in a no mood of having or adding. I mean, no mood, or we were not in position only to buy 35 viewer licenses. So what we did here, we utilized Tab CMD to automate dashboard downloads and backup activities both. So in terms of dashboard download, so what you can do is you can use set of Tab. I mean, first of all, you have to install Tab CMD utility. You can download it from Tableau website and then install it on on your Tableau server virtual machine or virtual server, and it gives you a range of commands. From like you can log in through command prompt, like tab cmd login or tab cmd get, or there are multiple commands like this. So what we had done was we had created a set of batch files to automatically download TWX files from Tableau server, and we were utilizing again some basic DOS commands like rename and move, copy, and cut and copy, all those things to move the Tableau files from a temporary folder to the shared folder. And that is how we kind of removed normal users as viewers, and then we gave access to that specific shared folder to all 35 viewers. And then we had scheduled all these batch files on Tableau server, virtual server or virtual machine using a task scheduler. And we had put a frequency of, let's say, if a client had asked for a daily report, so we had uh, so we were running that batch file on a daily basis through task scheduler. And that task scheduler was running the bash script, and bash script was kind of hitting Tableau server and downloading the Tableau files, the TWBX files, and putting it to a specific folder. And it was kind of iterative activity which used to run, which is running every day and every week as per client's requirement. And that is how we kind of eliminated use of viewer license, and we were able to save some costs. I cannot share the batch files due to obvious reasons, but in case you need suggestions in terms of like how to automate Tableau dashboard downloads from Tableau server to shared folder without you logging in, or without anyone logging into Tableau server actually. And then again, you can utilize Tableau Reader to view those reports. So just drop me a note or feel free to reach out. I can support. And one more thing I want to clarify here is this solution is totally legal and legit, and can be applied to any project in case cost reduction is required. In case, let's say you feel that viewer licenses are not are like going over and above budget, so you can utilize this methodology to download Tableau files, and then you can ask users to view it and read it using Tableau Reader. And yeah, that's it. And then in similar, again, we had created this batch file. It had a major risk in terms of login information, although it was encrypted, but it can be like kind of decrypted and hacked. So you have to first take approvals from the client if you want to go through this. Go by this step. Go by this method of downloading the Tableau files automatically, uh, because it kind of encrypts the embeds the password when you put tab cmd login. So you have to give your username and password along with this command. So just make sure that you are having all approvals, and then after approvals, your Tableau server virtual machine is kind of secured, and it's not accessible to other users. And yeah, again, scheduling all batch scripts on virtual server using task scheduler. In similar way, we had done automation of backing up Tableau server. Again, tab cmd command. Uh, we had put tab cmd command at use, and to kind of take backup, and to take backup, and then again converted into a batch file, scheduled it, and then automated it for every Friday end of business at a specific time. So yeah, that's all around these two hurdles. The solution that we had provided. So this is the entire solution. The diagram is very crappy. I'm sorry for that, but yeah, this is what I was able to come up with. So this is how it kind of used to work. So like apart from Tableau server activities, the initial task was to kind of get the data, fetch the data from Avaya and ServiceNow, put it into SQL Server, and then make sure it's accessible to Tableau developer who is creating Tableau dashboards. And then again, we had set up this virtual machine in Azure network, which was having Tableau server installed with all the settings which client had asked. Uh, and then again, there were two kind of users: power users who were Explorer administrators, and normal users who were viewing the TWBX files via Tableau readers. And we were pulling data from data sources using Python scripts. And again, these Python scripts were also automated on the same virtual machine where Tableau was installed. And yeah, some key learnings. as a Tableau admin. So just make sure that you're following all steps. One minor miss can make you reinstall the entire server, and all your initial work will go in kind of waste. Will go waste if you are not following all steps carefully. And yeah, always use tab cmd to automate complex and repetitive tasks. Like I have just used to download the reports, the dashboards, and automate the backup. But tab cmd commands can also be used to automate other tasks, like creating folders or giving users access, taking access from users, assigning the multiple roles, assigning schedules or creating schedules, I'm sorry. And then all for all these things, tab cmd commands can be really very helpful. And keep monitoring log files. It can help you resolve most of the problems on the Tableau infrastructure. Last slide. I told you in the first slide, I told you like there are 3 R's for major problems: refresh, restart, and reinstall. So these 3 were like not required in any case. And in any case, if you kind of go wrong with Tableau Server, or if there is any problem with Tableau Server, all you have to do is you have to just download logs from TSM, download and set up Logshark utility, and then debug your problems and issues. So Logshark will automatically summarize all the stats from all the workbooks in terms of performance issues, which process is working, which process is not working, what is the reason. So Logshark can kind of do all this analysis, and it can provide you with all the details where the problem is, and what is the root cause of the problem. So you don't need to refresh, restart, or reinstall in any case. Just analyze everything from logs. And still, if you're not able to identify, then Tableau support at your help at any point of time. Just raise a ticket, and that's it. You will be assigned a ticket number, and then they'll reach out to you. If not in a couple of days, then in a couple of weeks or 1 week, or yeah, that's it. Yes. Any questions, guys?
I've got one question.
Sure.
Because I'm interested, what's the difference in the Tableau Server implementation between Azure and, for example, AWS or GCP?
Okay. So see, everything is same. So like the installation process, process of adding SSO, SML, and all those settings. The only difference is Azure being a cloud environment. You can always rely on Azure or any cloud platform in terms of backup recovery, or any kind of if the server is down, then they can provide you with a duplicate server, which will not be available in on-premise setup. So again, on-premise will also be very costly in terms of maintenance and all those things. So it's always suggested to go with a cloud if your company is hosting a cloud environment.
Okay, so it's clear for me. Do we have any other questions, guys?
When I heard about our solution, refresh, restart, and other, I thought about more complicated issues. For example, when the search engine is not working, when you have like refresh internal tokens, or when the users cannot log in or something is breaking on the Tableau server, then restart the application or restart the machine usually works. And if nothing works, then simply reinstall. So create backup. What if backup is not working? Then you can pretty much recreate folders and stuff like that, others. But I understood that you didn't approach these issues like really hard issues, only the dashboard issues. Then yeah, I believe
so
then
yeah, so this was kind of,
plus.
yeah, please go ahead.
So I understood, I mean, from my admin perspective, I thought you were meaning like really high level issues that server is broken pretty much. That's why. And here I understand now that you are talking about small issues like dashboard is not responding or something like that.
Yeah. So see, I used to kind of go through all these problems And I used to totally reinstall, like after end of business at any day when users are not logged in, I used to like kind of reinstall and again reinitiate the backup. But when I encountered Logshark, so that is why that is when I learned about that logs can also be, and this was like about 6 months back only. So and since then, I mean, I have not kind of I don't come over all these complex problems. Might be like whosoever is my replacement might come across these problems. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really love Logshark, to be honest, because
Yeah.
it provides you with the Tableau visualizations of the issues. You can like
Yes. Performance
check
dashboards.
yeah, everything, every issue and stuff like that. So it's really cool. One additional thing, current version of Tableau have within the maintenance backup TSM command, automated backup, so you can like schedule it inside. Pretty much what I would also suggest. I know that sometimes it's really hard to just schedule backups from the application, like in TSM commands, and create backup that way. Sometimes the backup is really huge, so you still have to like move it outside of Tableau Server environment, so it will not like interact with the Tableau Server and would not cause any additional issues. So still your approach to connect to Tableau Server from outside is pretty much, from my perspective, better option. Even though we currently have these options in TSM commands.
So what I did was, in terms of the Tableau backup, the batch file which I had created. So I had make sure that we are kind of putting a move command at the end, in terms of like moving the backup from Tableau server drive to some other drive or some other location. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. And probably you have like TSM maintenance cleanup before, so
Yes.
the backup will
Yes.
not be huge. And
Entire script
other
is available
stuff,
on Tableau. Yeah.
yeah, it's probably bigger batch. I mean, bigger script than just two commands. So yeah, I understand. And this is not pretty much doable easily in schedule on Tableau server itself in TSM commands. That's why this is preferable approach to that from my perspective.
Yeah. Thanks, Piotr. I mean, we should catch up after this meetup. I'll need to. I mean, I kind of moved out from that role, but yeah, I will for sure learn multiple things from you. So
Thanks. So I think we are a little bit out of the time. So if you have any questions, I think if you allow me, Jayesh, to share your presentation to our group, that would be super useful. And as Jayesh mentioned, you can catch him on the LinkedIn or using the Gmail. Thank you very much, Jayesh, for your presence.
thanks, Pavel. Thank you everyone for listening and being so
Thank
patient.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So now it's time to, let's say, hear something more about the server and especially about the permission policy. So Piotrek, the floor is yours. So we've got Haran wants to ask something, right?
Hi.
Sorry, I saw that the hand raised, but
yeah.
Charan, you have raised your hand. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Haran, please go ahead.
Or if you have any issues with your audio, you can write the question in the chat.
Yeah.
Or maybe.
Yeah, so let's go with our agenda, right? Piotr, the floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Piotr Romac, and I work for Astrofox company, and I'm here to talk about pretty much Tableau server environment. I mean, not environment itself, but the permissions that you can like implement inside Tableau server. So let me maybe share the screen. I just installed Tableau server, so I hope nothing breaks really on my machine. So this is how it looks like. After installation, you can like log into 8850. I mean, administrators should know about this. But we will not talk about TSM. We will talk about the server itself and how to manage rights and access to the server itself. So first thing first, we have to add users. If a user is not existent on the Tableau server, then it pretty much cannot have any rights and access granted to them. So first thing, what we would like to do, the first thing should be create site. So when we have like site, we can add users. When we have like users, then they can log in. So here, I'm logged in currently as the first user that was initially created. And so now what I can do is pretty much start adding new users. So adding new user is pretty much straightforward. It can be done via AD or locally. Currently on my machine is local authentication, so I add them by hand. Let me just add one. It's pretty much straightforward how to do it. And yeah, here we encounter first thing that we can pretty much manage our access rights. So first things first, unlicensed. Unlicensed is a person that not only does not have pretty much license available for them, so they will be not really able to log in, view, or interact with the server. Then we have like viewer level access, and you can pretty much see which tick is corresponding to which role in the graph below. So you can pretty much assign the level of access you would like to grant the user based on their site role. And the site role is pretty much important, as we talked previously, because each higher level costs a little bit more. So sometimes you can like automate and push it outside even Tableau server the visualizations, so they would be able to use a Reader or Tableau desktop to view the visualizations. But sometimes you want to grant them more access to interact or even create new visualizations on the Tableau server itself. So according to whatever you would like to give the user the rights to do, you have to pretty much assign the specific role here. So this is the first thing. Without that, the user would not be able to even log in. And yeah, so let's add this as server administrator. We will talk about that later. Okay, and maybe not later, maybe right now. So unlicensed is person who will never be able to log in. Server administrator is the person that you will never be able to take rights away from. So server administrator will always have rights to any content on the server. And everything else is something in between. Viewers can view, explorers can explore, creators can create, or even publish. Okay, then we can also manage access by creating additional sites. So usually server comes with the default site. Default site is the, let's treat it as one Tableau server environment inside our server. So each Tableau server site is pretty much its own Tableau server. So the content is not pretty much shareable between each other. So whatever you publish to client 1, client 2 will never be able to see, and vice versa. And so the content published to the client's sites will be pretty much secure from the client's perspective, which might not be that easy if you would use like one site. So this is pretty much recommended if you have like multiple clients that shouldn't really see each other. So this is the different aspect of the managing user rights. The third one that we can implement is by using users or groups and assign permission directly on the content. So for example, let us create some random local group, test group, create. And let me maybe just add some users. It's not really important right now which one. And yeah, so let us maybe go to explore and let us play a little bit with the permissions. So here, as you can see, we have permissions table that pretty much tells us what users can do or what users cannot do. Here, we can assign user roles, so to say. We can assign them by user or group. I would strongly not recommend using by user. Please use groups. That way we can manage users much more easily, so to say. So for example, let us add everything and maybe add us additional this test group, and let us, for example, deny everything, save. Here we have a few options in assigning the green or red boxes, or even without one. So how Tableau Server defines the access is pretty much he goes through all of the users and check what user is available in specific group, and it combines every access right that is assigned them to those roles, to those groups, and combine them. And the rule is as follow. If everything is blank, so not specified, then it's not granted, it's denied. If at least one of them is red, then it's denied. If it's unspecified or in any combination of green, then it's granted. And on top of that, we have to think also on the user roles that we assigned previously. So unlicensed user will always have roles here denied. The server admin, no matter what roles or user groups it is assigned to, and because he is server admin, he will always be get the granted here. And everything else, it depends on the user role. So for example, viewers will have pretty much reduced options to some things. For example, download, edits, and saving options for viewer will never be available. And you can check why the user was denied that role just by checking on the mark here. You can also just check for all users why person is, for example, here, I am the server administrator. That's why I have pretty much everything green. Some people are unlicensed. That's why they have everything red. Some things are not even granted by any rule. As you can see, you have here everything as blank. So that's why this person 2 seconds is not granted, and so on and so on. And for that, we can assign for pretty much anything in the server. Unfortunately, yeah, for the projects, for the workbooks, data sources, and so on. So again, we have 3 approaches to permissions in the Tableau Server. First is we can split Tableau Server in different sites. Content within sites is not shareable across other sites. So if person is assigned only one site, for example, currently we have multiple users and only few are assigned to multiple sites. Everyone else is pretty much assigned to one site. So whenever I will log into any of those users, I will see only one site. I will not see other clients, whatever they may be. And I probably would not even have this drop to see that, hey, they have like other clients here. After that, they will get the role on the site they will be logged in, and based on that, they may be granted some rules or not. And then on the specific content, when we go to the folder, they may be granted some rules or not. Here we can also add something called I cannot see because I have here I should have. I'm not able to click it somehow. Oh, yeah. So here we have also one additional thing that we can log the permissions for the entire project. So everything inside will have the same permissions as here, whatever we are assigning, and or customizable. So everything inside, for example, data sources, workbooks, can have like each own permissions. Currently, we can set up inside the project whatever different permissions we would like. So for example, we can, for a workbook, set different permissions. As you can see, they don't have the same permissions as the project itself. They will be applied only for the new workbook. So whatever we publish it, they will copy them from the project permissions. But after we will publish new things, then they will just get those that are applied here. What else? Also, what I would recommend is whenever we have like option to govern our Tableau server from outside our Tableau server environment, for example, via AD, not local authentication, but by AD, then this would be a really good idea to add groups via from domain, and then you should be able to pretty much schedule from the server settings the refresh from the domain users, and then they will be pretty much applied whatever roles, whatever minimal roles would be in those groups. So for example, if I would like, let's say this would be like other group, you would be able to just add minimal role. For example, Explorer can publish to those, and whatever user, whenever user would add, would be added to this AD group, then those permissions would be granted to him. And whenever user would be removed from the group, from the domain, then user here would go outside of the group, but he would still be inside users, but his license would be just taken off. This is due to an issue that content for the user is assigned as owner to that person. And whenever you like remove that person, all of its content is also removed. And when it goes unlicensed, then the content is still available on the server, but he will not be able to access the server. So I think that's all from my presentation, I would say. I don't know if there would be any questions.
Piotr, can you also throw some lights on like kind of row level security, how to add it by creating groups and users? Or
I mean, from the Tableau server perspective, what we could do is something called user filter. I would have to go to Tableau desktop, create user filter. When we would like connect to the Tableau server, we would be able to also in the connection, there should be something called like user filter. Then you will connect and see users and groups inside those user filters, and you would be able to apply those groups to certain fields, columns. And whether a user should be able to see them or not, you can apply the logic there. And after that, and this is also one good way to hide information from server administrator, because server administrator, even though he would be able to like remove a user filter, he would have to like actively do so, because he would not be able to see the data that would not be available for him.
So as of now, you added users directly from like from yourself, but just for everyone, right? I mean, we can also add users from Active Directory if you are linking your Tableau server to the Active Directory.
Yeah, this would be something like add users from ID group. Here it would be like search, and you just have to like pick the user that would pop out. Here, because we have like local authentication, we don't really have that. With local authentication, we can do some other stuff like SAML authentication or Kerberos and site specific, but it's more complicated, I believe, for today's session.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, do we have any further questions? If not, I believe that you can reach out Piotr after the call, as well as Jayesh. Piotr, thank you very much for your presentation. I think
thank you.
That we are smart right now after this presentation. And now it's time for Ewa, and she will tell us a little bit more about the project Women in Data Science. So Ewa, please go ahead.
Yeah, so hello everyone. Yeah, it will be a really short one and quick introduction because we are out of time a bit. So
strongly out of time.
Yeah, strongly out of time. So I just briefly introduce myself. So by profession, I'm urban planner and philosopher. So I was working for many years on planning participatory and educational projects. Also, for now, like my main focus is on the visualization and analysis of business and social processes. And in addition, I work like in the communities, and I work with the initiatives that's approach AI for good. So that's very important for me. And actively, I'm working to promote women in every field, and especially in AI. I'm also a co-founder of local chapter for 3 cities, so it's for Gdynia, Gdańsk, and Sopot. Local chapter of women in machine learning and data science. So I will introduce, I just share the screen. Okay, here. I just really briefly talk about the initiative. So here's the site for machine learning, women in machine learning data science. So this is a worldwide organization. So if you are going to be interested in any of our local chapters, here's the information. And about the organization, this is it was founded by Erin Delel. She's like a very big name in machine learning field. She's responsible for a lot of creating a lot of libraries for the projects, and she's very smart machine learning engineer. So she started a chapter in New York, US based. So what is it about? The aim of the organization is really really simple. This is to popularize the field of machine learning and data science, and it's also focused on the inclusiveness. So we mainly support women and minorities in entering the data science market. So if you would be more interested to get really chapters from worldwide, so also some in the Middle East, Asia, and our local chapters here in Europe. Ours is here. So this is Tri-City. And we have also another chapter. This is my colleagues from Data Science Bootcamp. They're not with me anymore. Two of them moved and working locally. Monica is now in Berlin, and Magdalena will start a new chapter in New Zealand. So really nice one. And if someone is also Poland based but live elsewhere, we also have like a chapter here in Poznań, and they also are very active. So I'm in contact with Agnieszka Kamińska. She also have a position of PR and this kind of like position besides her, she's a machine learning specialist. Okay, so if you want to have more information and want to join us, we have a meetup page for this chapter. We conduct some small workshops, mainly focused on the visualization. We use a variety of tools, ggplot, for example, Shiny, and also Tableau. We have like small workshops, main on the visual aspect of the data. We also were able to organize two big workshops, and they were conducted for 6 months. One is the latest one. I will only show this one. The latest one was called Detect Waste in Pomerania. So we've got a blog. So we've got the blog behind this project. We've got all the information about. And this was the plastic object detection project focus onto segmentation of the garbage. So the big work behind it was to annotate and combine data sets that was focused on that subject. So here we got all the project was summarized here. Here's the team behind the organization, and we have also a lot of mentors and the participants themselves. So what we accomplish, we have also put the project site on the GitHub. So here you have all of the documentation about the project and all the information about the data sets behind, and we were working on them, and also the information about the models and the effectiveness of them. So we were able to conduct a model which have like 90% of accuracy, and it's also open. It's open source, so all of the projects and all of the initiatives are pro bono, and they are open source. The results are open source. So this is the things you can dive in more afterwards. And why I'm talking about all of this, because next step I'm planned for the next year. I think about Q2 to organize a workshop to build your own machine learning model with Tableau Analytics Extension API. So we have like the Tableau Analytics expansion API, so it's very easy to deploy. any machine learning model, the client method defines by the TabPy connection. So you only have the host name and the port number, and you can deploy. And the deploy method is applied to proceed the model on the TabPy server. So we want to organize this kind of workshop. I hope it's always understandable because I can, speed up really, really nicely. So if you have like any more questions and if you want to join the initiative, feel free also to find me on the LinkedIn. So thank you for that.
Thank you,
Do you
Ewa.
also conduct trainings, Ewa? Do you also
Sorry?
conduct trainings?
It's more like on the workshop side. It's not like the training. So you have the the subjects and you go with the agenda. So it's more like we have some plan. We have agenda for the things that we want to test. It's more like it's live. The workshops are live, and we I don't know how to say, we operate on the living structure. So so we have an overview and some aim and some goal that we want to achieve. So this is regarding the small workshops, like few hours or the meetup. But if I'm talking about this, the 6 months workshop, they are more. You need to give more from your side, and they are strictly in the manner of machine learning model from the project management point of view. So we have the analytic part, we have the data exploratory part. So we have the part that we are focusing more on the model. So and then on the deployment.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you. So if there's any more questions. If not, I give the voice back to Pavel.
Thank you very much, Ewa. As you said, people are able to reach you via the LinkedIn. Okay, so let's go to the other businesses. We are out of time, so in this segment, I want to wish you a fantastic Christmas and a fantastic and happy New Year. So that's all from this segment. I believe that we can close this meeting. Thank you very much for your attendance.
Next time, let's do it, in person, Pavel. So, we can gather at some place in some city and then, meet up.
That was the plan to organize something in place. But, yeah, that's the future of those meetings. Free pizza is hard to deny.
Yeah.
Correct. All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Super. Thank you guys for your attendance and to presenters for the presentations. And have a great evening.